So, Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Neshine have authorized me to say, yes, you have that meeting if you leave here.
Quiet! The trial's gonna begin!
May I have your attention, please? Yes. We, the Cornell community of Latinos, bring to trial Cornell University for its various crimes against Latinos. We, the Latinos of Cornell community, are upset over the fact that we have been consistently ignored, that we have had to time and time again make requests that have never been listened to. We, the Cornell community of Latinos, has now decided that we are tired of requesting and it is time to demand. And we have decided that peace when possible, but violence when necessary. I ask you, the members of Cornell's Latino community, to come forward and give testimony to the various crimes of ignorance, racism, sexism, gay bashing, and last but not least, disempowerment of our people.
We have to make an announcement. Yeah. All right, we met out here, and we just want to make an announcement, see if it's acceptable to you guys, and the press can listen in here if they want. Larry Palmer ought to listen to this too. What we decided is that we reject the administration offer at this time. We are not changing our demands. We demand that the time, place, and date of the meeting be announced and publicly known before we leave Day Hall, and we will not leave until this happens. We want this so that the people in the community know when it's going to happen, so they can be there, so if it doesn't go the way we want, we have some influence to assert. Okay? We want this meeting to take place in the memorial room so that the community may silently observe the proceedings. The actual meeting will be restricted to the administration and 8, not 6, Latino representatives. The reason for that is that there are 8 Latino organizations, and we don't want to leave one community or one part of our community out. Anyone who wishes may silently observe the meeting, and observers will not be allowed to participate or add their comments, but will only be there in order to be informed. When these criteria are met, we will peacefully leave Day Hall.
I'd like to call the first witness. Anyone from the crowd? All of us have walked through the Arts Quad, and all of us have been silently scorned. Get the hell out, they all say in their hearts. And even though they think we're stupid, we're not. And we're damn angry. So I want everyone in this room to say something about it, because I know that everyone has some kind of story.
Yeah, we're not just angry. We're not violently angry. We feel threatened. That's how we feel. We feel threatened because we don't find history courses that interest us. We feel threatened because we don't find ourselves represented in this university. That's why we're demanding what we demand. I came to this school wishing to have. Okay, that's it. I'm not gonna do.
May I have another witness, please?
I want to talk about the space and language of freedom. Daniel Martinez has made a piece that, as in his words, brings the feel of the city to Cornell. Now, he's not talking about the Upper West Side. He's not talking about Beverly Hills. He's not talking about Snob Hill in San Francisco. He's talking about El Barrio. He's talking about the city that we feel within, the city that millions of our brothers and sisters, our hermanos and hermanas, are captive to. Suddenly, when Cornell's blue-blooded elite, the Ivy League, have to walk through thin paths that channel their direction with no outlet in any other way, they complain About what? The inconvenience. Well, who's inconveniencing who? Whose lives are kept captive? Whose lives are channeled in direct direction, no outlet? From the materials that he used, tar, the stench of tar, the wood, the construction site, it's rough. Well, life's rough. And life's rough for a lot of people who have no escape. So when I see Cornell's elite defacing this piece and protesting the extra 15 seconds it might take for them to get to class, it's funny, they suddenly become interested in getting to class on time. I know what's really up. And they'll deny that it's racist. They'll say, you're the racist ones for saying it's a race thing. Well, who's controlling the language? So Martinez has built a space, and it's Latino space, and it's Chicano space, and it's our space.
I want to testify why Latinos here are angry today and are upset. We're upset because we want to have faculty. We're upset because we want to have administration who we can look up to and look for advice, to ask them what can we do with our problems, what can we do with our dreams, how can we achieve our dreams. We have nobody to ask those questions to, and that's what we want to have. Administration, professors that can help us. If I want to be a lawyer, I want to go to a professor and say, how can I be a lawyer? How can I, as a Latino woman, a Latino and a woman, can succeed in this country without being followed by racist remarks and by racist talk? That's what I want to have somebody who's up there who already achieved what I want to achieve and tell me and gear me towards that goal. And that's why we request minority professors. We request them because we want to have mentors. We want to have people who can teach us and tell us who we are and how we can be ourselves in the future, out there in America, in this Anglo-Saxon America. That's what we want. That's what we want, professors. And that's why I'm glad everybody's here, so to show our support. And that's why I'm here upset, because I want Latino, Black American professors, Asian professors to give me the perspective on how this world works. This world is not a white world. It's a multicolored world, and we all are part of it. And we want the school to reflect that.
I want to continue on Patricia's note about having more professors and more faculty here that are minorities. In the ILR school currently, in 48 years, there hasn't been one single tenured minority professor. And the ILR school boasts the highest percentage of minorities in its classrooms, but yet the faculty does not get anywhere. Right now, there are no minority faculty in ILR. There used to be one, and she left. That's the School of Industrial Labor Relations. She left. She did not get tenure, and apparently she was upset about that, and she just left the school. If I'm not mistaken, in the hotel school, there's also no minority professors. That's what's wrong here today. Thank you.
I would like to bring the charge against Cornell and the United States in general that we do not know our history. Our history is not taught. Our rich history, los Mayas, los Incas, the Egyptians, Taínos, is not taught yet. When Europe was still buzzing over its number system, the Mayas came up with the concept of the zero. And they call us uncivilized. We want to know the truth, and we want the truth to be taught here at Cornell by people who know the truth. And those people are Latinos, Latinas, and other minority professors who've gone through all this. That's my charge. And I want it to be heard today in front of everybody here, and in front of Cornell University, Frank Rhodes, and the provost. I'm sorry I don't know your name, but in front of you too.
I took the notes that Eduardo gave me and talked to Mr. Rhodes about that.
By December.
The date of the meeting will be December 3rd. It will be a private meeting. The place and time to be selected. There will be 8 representatives so that all groups can be represented. So that's...
Okay, we're gonna have to meet.
Yeah, the offer, let me just make it clear, Eduardo, the offer becomes effective once the building is cleared.
Okay, we understand that.
Who?
Where?
Channel 7. Channel 7.
Okay, okay, meet out there. I'll be right there. Is it what?
We'll be there in 3 minutes. Channel 7.
December 3rd.
To
everyone here?
so 5 minutes.
Mr. Palmer, could you please announce that there are close to 80 students in this room who are dying to hear what you have to say? If you would please enunciate just a little bit so the people way in the back can hear what you say.
You can come around to the middle here.
Just come over here and you can tell the people. Could you just
Everybody,
come over
please,
here and repeat? We can hear you.
Come from here, Tom.
So, I just announced that that I'd spoken to Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Nashheim, and that they offered to meet on December 3rd. The meeting would be a private meeting at a time and place to be announced later, and that the number of people involved, there'll be 8 students, so that all of the groups, all the Hispanic or Latino groups, I'm sorry, could be represented. Okay. And that the other individuals, Eduardo and others, are discussing that consideration. It still is at the situation that that offer is effective when the building is cleared.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Co-chairs are meeting and discussing Mr. Palmer's proposition. We would like to continue the trial.
Yeah, let's continue.
I don't know. Is there anyone who is willing to giving more testimony?
Right here.
I want to give the next round of testimony that Cornell is guilty. Not only guilty because they bring us to a university like this and tell us we're going to become educated, that we're going to value diversity, but I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed because why? In an age when we're all trying to increase our global competition, what does Cornell do? What does the United States do? Well, let me tell you what they do not do. They do not take the gifts that each and every culture in the United States has to bring. They can only bring, and they can only think of, the elite. That's all. We as Latinos, we as blacks, we as Asians have so much to give to our competition around the globe. If they would just ask us, well, if we're going to compete in Japan, let's get American Japanese to see what we can do about things. No. They're in some office, that's the office of the provost, 300, Day Hall, and they're in there discussing it. Well, some are eating caviar in Philadelphia, so they call through the phone and say, what should we do about this? They don't call their ethnicities of a nation to say, what can we do? How can we compete globally? And you know, it'll be to the ultimate demise of our nation, to the ultimate demise of our nation if they do not take each and every gift. We're taught since we're young children to say, okay, let's see what everybody can bring to the table. That is obviously not the case here. Not the case at this university, not the case in the United States, and certainly not the case here if we have to go back and forth and say, and trying to fight and struggle. I mean, it's not very difficult to gather a meeting to actually achieve everyone's goals by actually giving an input. That's all we're doing. We're not taking anything from you, but we're giving you our input. So if we're actually going to think about global competition in the future, and second thing, it may seem to other people, to other cultures, that we're selfish. Oh, we need a Hispanic Studies Center. Oh, that we need a Hispanic this and Hispanic that. Damn right we need a Hispanic that, because we don't have it. If you don't have it, how can you improve anything without even taking a portion of what's a gift that a people can provide and not even absorb anything precious from that? Thanks.
First of all, I want to say that Cornell says, yes, we're going to meet everyone's demands. We're going to bring a Hispanic artist. We're going to let him onto the arts quad. We're going to let him build whatever he wants to. Yet, me as a Mexican-American Hispanic, this is supposed to be my art, knows absolutely nothing about it. I don't know what's going on. For all I know, they're building a platform for all I know. They don't let the Hispanic community know what's going on. They fail to give us the stuff that we want, but when they do, they try to ignore it. They try to make it seem like it's not important. They try to make us feel that we're intruding on their land over there, when they fail to realize that that land over there was my ancestors' land before they even knew that America was America, okay? So, that's all I have to say. And we just want, I mean, you know, they give us a lot, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to learn, because I know that if I were in Mexico right now, I'd be plowing fields, and I appreciate America, but I just want a little more respect, because this is our land just as much as it is theirs.
Yeah.
May I have another witness, please?
Yes. I want to say something really quick. We're here because we want to be heard, because we're tired of being reminded that we're less, that our ethnicity means less than anybody else. We want people to know who we are, and we don't want anybody to tell us who we are. That's why we're demanding more history courses. That's why we want more funding for Hispanic American Studies program. We don't want anybody to tell us who we are. We want to learn and to tell the world who we are. That's why we're here, and we want to be heard, because we're tired.
My name is Solomon Smart, and I'd like to start off by saying that I'm sure we all do know that above all of this here at Cornell, the problem is racism, oppression, and injustice in America. And we all know that this is a fact. Yeah. And I accuse Cornell of upholding the lie that America does not have that injustice, that racism, and that oppression by not telling us what the problems are, by not exposing us to the everyday discriminations that occur to minorities in this country. So I accuse Cornell of upholding the lie and the oppression in America.
Yeah.
What blows my mind is, look at us all on the floor. We all had to do this just to get a meeting, and supposedly this is the pride and joy of an Ivy League school. Ivy League schools pride themselves in being the most educated, the finest kind of education that anybody could get in the United States, yet look what we're doing, on the floor, because we can't get a voice. I don't know about you, but that does not look right to me.
But we're here.
Are there any more witnesses willing to testify? Amanda.
Hello, my name is Tracy Osei Harford, and I make it a daily practice to testify against Cornell University and what it represents to me as an African-American woman here on this campus. The reason why I'm supporting the Latinos and Latinas on this campus is because I feel we share a common struggle. The fact of the matter is the reason why we share the struggle is because, like you said, we have to be on the floor here because we are considered an impediment. We consider people who have to be tolerated. Just the fact that what I hear happen to people being pushed aside and being cursed at because we were in people's way, because they didn't care about the struggle that you and I have to go through on this campus is just indicative of the fact that we are tolerated on this campus. And frankly, I don't care if we're tolerated because you know what I'm going to do? And I know what all you guys are going to do. You're going to get your education and then you're going to raise your children so that we will have to tolerate them. This whole country is about power. Unfortunately, we don't have the power. And the only way we can have the power is to lay down on the floor and have people bring in food for us because they're not going to do it for us. They were going to make us wait until we were hungry and we were tired and we were just frustrated. And that's how they do. They just wait. And the fact of the matter is we have to do this. And until our children are provosts, we're going to have to do this. And I hope that this is not the only time I see Latino and Black and Asian, whoever else is here, rallying for a cause. Because frankly, I feel that this is a sign of a future. It should not be that this is the first time I see you, and I don't expect it to be the last. So I consider this a symbol of what can happen in the future. And frankly, I want to be in that office in 20 years. Yeah.
The prosecution rests. However, this wouldn't be a trial if we didn't let them defend themselves. Because then we'd be doing what their ancestors did to us 20, 30 years ago. It'd just be a lynching. And we're not gonna stoop down to that level, are we? No. Are we? No. So then we ask them to defend themselves. Or if anyone wants to play devil's advocate.
Can I get the grandson of Cecil Rhodes? Can I get the grandson of Cecil Rhodes?
He's eating caviar in Philly.
Is that with his grandfather, the one from Rhodesia, who stole Africa? Oh.
Is there anyone willing to defend Cornell? Or is Cornell willing to defend itself? Thank you.
I'm in Kappa Alpha Sigma Theta Bi, and it's my brotherhood. And I'd like to say that I think the fraternity system offers a wonderful and warm way for brothers of all sorts to get to know each other. I can say that my experience in my fraternity has been one of the most multicultural and endearing experiences of my life. And my brothers, and you know, they teach me how to dance, and you know, I'm in my fraternity and I feel like a brother, and oh, Kappa Alpha Theta Beta Pi. Oh.
Any more witnesses for the defense?
Go ahead, Dad.
Okay. Imagine for a minute that I am not an African-American woman in this country. On the Cornell campus. I would try and play devil's advocate and say that I don't understand what you're here for. I don't understand the struggle. And I find I have a problem with that. I could stand, yes, I could stand here and say that I am a white American, Anglo-Saxon Protestant in this country who doesn't understand the art, and I don't understand, so why should I care if somebody else writes on it?
Well, as a defense to that, I have to say that if you don't understand it, you should find out. There is no devil advocate here because you should be brought up to learn about other people's culture. That is what you are here for at Cornell. So there is no reason for your ignorance. Ignorance is not an excuse. There is no defense.
Are there any other persons wishing to testify? Does the prosecution rest?
No.
Hell no!
Never. No. All right, actually, I'd like to come up in front of this camera to actually thank Cornell because I was brought out of a situation in the inner city. Went to school primarily in a very suburban neighborhood. No people like you. Many of you heard this already. But Cornell has allowed me to wake up and actually realize what is actually going on. When I was younger, I was in the middle of it, didn't know why, but now I understand, and I thank you.
Just like Heather said, just imagine that I'm an Anglo-Saxon person. I don't understand why you people are upset. You guys are here, aren't you? You got to Cornell. You got a chance to have your education. You even having more than what your parents had. Aren't you pleased that you can come to Cornell and educate yourself? You should be happy. Well, my answer to that is not enough. But I hear that every day. I'm not happy to be here because more people should be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement.
All right, we don't have an announcement. We want to ask people. We're gonna tell you what they offered us, and then we want to hear what your response is. Okay, what we demanded, what they offered us, and what your response is. We asked for an open meeting in the memorial room at a time that would be announced before we left, so that you all would know when and where it is, so you could come, so you could plan your schedules around it. Okay, what they offered us was a meeting at an undisclosed place, closed to 8 people, at an undisclosed time. Okay, the other thing is they offered the meeting on a day when every Latino organization is co-sponsoring a dance. Beyond that, it's also the last day of class and the first day of study week. So, with that information, we just want to know if you guys accept these offers.
No! Excuse me, Eduardo.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the biggest issue here is the fact that it should be that they would like to be a private meeting, and I think we know from the history of the many, many private meetings. What I'm thinking to now is the Willard Strait issue, and 8 people got in the room and they promised us that they were going to change everything, and everything they said they were going to do, they could say it was a lie when the meeting was over because only 8 people said.
Yeah.
And if there's 8 of us and 8 of them, who are they going to believe? The 8 of them. We cannot afford to have another meeting where we think shit is getting done, excuse my French, where we think stuff is getting done and it comes out and it's all a lie. We cannot afford to let them manipulate us again and again.
Right. Okay, we don't want to like turn this into a forum because we just, yeah, no, I agree, and I'm glad you clarified that.
This is a suggestion over
here. Yeah, what's that?
I guess I had a suggestion to sort of the middle of the road. I guess our whole point is to make sure that the whole community has an idea of what's going on. And I thought maybe we could use the technology we have today to, I guess, use the best of both worlds. It could be a closed-door meeting with 8 and 8, but you know how you have like a closed-circuit boxing match? Where it'll be televised and recorded. So like she said, everything is on tape, everything is known, everything that was said will be known.
Okay, that's a good idea. I think that's the kind of thing like that we could work out. You know, that's sort of nitty-gritty. Like there's a fine line between that and a closed meeting. You know, so I think the point being that something like that needs to happen. The meeting needs to be open to people, for people to watch at this time in the same place that the meeting's happening, right? Because so that they can be informed, and also, like we were saying earlier, we don't have economic power, but we have people power. You know, people walk to those meetings when the trustees come. They walk to the meetings with their checkbooks, right? We need to walk to the meeting with groups of people. So, since people don't want to accept that offer, what we thought would be a reasonable counteroffer would be to have the meeting on November 30th, which is the Tuesday, the last Tuesday of class, in the memorial room, at a time that's agreed on now before we leave. Okay? So, is that generally what do people feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, open meeting in the memorial. So we have no other statement to make then at this present time. That's it. What did they offer? What? A closed meeting on December 3rd. Should also, it's no surprise that they offered the meeting on December 3rd. So, that's typical. All right. We don't have anything written down. Just November 30th.
We have to have a cherry control.
Everyone seen the banner? No. Okay, we'll show you. It's coming. Put it over the wall here and then we'll hang it up. Yeah, right there. Why don't you read it out? All right, what it says is Cornell on trial by the Latino community. And then up at the top it says, allow me to say, this is a quote by Che Guevara, who was a leader of he's an Argentine. He was a leader of the Cuban Revolution. He's from Argentina. He was killed in Bolivia.
By the CIA.
By the CIA. He was murdered.
They cut his head off and sent his hands to different governments.
Allow me to say, at the risk of sounding ridiculous, that the true revolutionary is guided by great feelings of love.
Let's leave it. I think we should leave it in
Okay,
here.
we'll leave it in here for right now.
I think leave it in here already.
Okay, we'll leave it here right now and then we'll move it later.
Who did that?
Okay, someone else read that? I mean, there's some hope.
Someone read this, please.
Open your eyes to the oppression
To an end. Power and unity, the people united will never be defeated. Latinos respect culture, not ignorance.
Nice calligraphy.
So,
Put down. Put down.
We'd like to bring the trial to a close, please, so if everyone would have a seat.
Don't forget.
I'd like to present closing remarks for the Cornell community of Latinos. I'm going to say it in one sentence. If you white bourgeoisie think that this is the end, hell no. This is only the first battle in an ongoing war. After this, we will disperse, we will go home, and our minds will continue thinking. And every day we shall plot new plans to foil the system. Does it end here, I ask you? No.
Oh.
Come to the middle. Yeah, he's coming over here.
I just talked to Mr. Rhodes and Mr. Nashheim again. They asked me to announce to you, and I guess clarify to you, that the meeting will take place before December 3rd at a time and place to be agreed to once he gets back here on Tuesday. It's impossible to agree to a place and time at this point, okay? The meeting will be a private meeting. Okay? All right. All right. All right, ladies and I'm sorry that you're disappointed. The building is closed. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Why close means
With that remark in defense of Cornell, I'd now like to present the verdict to the people. We are the jury. All those who say that Cornell is not guilty, raise your hands. All those who feel that Cornell is not guilty, may we have voices? Yay! All those who feel Cornell is guilty, let me hear you say yay. Yay! So what is the sentence? That's only the verdict. Now we have to deal with them. So how shall we sentence them?
guillotine.
I suggest that we sentence. Hold on. I suggest we sentence Cornell to a sit-in until our demands are met, and this is a minimum. All in favor of the sentence? Yay! All opposed?
I sentenced them to 36 hours listening to straight salsa and merengue. All in favor? Yay!
So it sounds like they're not going to meet our demands. So this is sort of a stalemate now. And winning a stalemate requires patience and endurance. So are people going to stay here?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
We have money for food. We're going to try to gain access to some telephones. There's a payphone downstairs. Some people from the press are on their way still. There's some have come, but more are coming. Someone's going to call this into the Associated Press so they can be in the New York Times, the Syracuse paper.